WFYI podcast brought to you by Bloomington, Indiana, an American college town offering food and drink, college sports, outdoor activities, live music, cool art, and good times daily. Everyone is welcome in Bloomington. More information at visitbloomington.com.
This is WFYI News Now. It's April 29th, and I'm Aubriana Herron. On today's show, Indianapolis pursues a Major League Soccer club. Parents of George Washington Carver School 87 give emotional testimony after video surfaced of alleged abuse. IMPD expands their drone program, and how the ban on non-compete agreements might impact doctors and nurses.
Hospitals against the rule fear this could lead to staff retention problems or even bidding wars.
Those stories coming up, but first, the history of Syrian immigrants in Indianapolis is inscribed on a new state historical marker downtown. The Syrian quarter marker is erected outside of Lucas Oil Stadium, where in the late 1800s, Arabic-speaking people started moving to this multinational neighborhood. IU Indianapolis professor and chair Edward Curtis says it was a hard life for many Syrian immigrants.
I'm pretty convinced that that is why the memory of our first Arab neighborhood in Indianapolis was forgotten, because I think life there was so hard.
The marker is the culmination of a series of projects in partnership with the Arab Indianapolis Foundation to bring greater awareness to local Syrian and Arab history. And Indianapolis is pursuing a Major League Soccer club. WFYI's Jill Sheridan reports the announcement last week puts the future of the city's other professional soccer team into question.
Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett announced Thursday that he had met with the MLS commissioner in talks to bring a team to Indianapolis. The city did not disclose what ownership group was in talks, but Hogsett touted a long history of sports innovation.
Our city knows how to navigate the business of sports.
The city's current soccer team, Indy 11, is a United Soccer League team, a tier below Major League Soccer. It broke ground on its new stadium last year. In a statement, Indy 11 says the move is shocking and disappointing. The city will propose a new professional sports development area where a stadium could be built near the downtown transit center. The MLS team could also move into the Riverside site planned for Indy 11. I'm Jill Sheridan.
Parents of George Washington Carver School 87 spoke through tears and anger about their own experiences during the Indianapolis Public School Board meeting last Thursday night. Much of the public testimony was in response to a video recently made public. In it, a teacher encourages the beating of a second-grade student with disabilities by a classmate. The parent of the second grader filed a lawsuit claiming the school staff ignored their concerns. Megan Kriebel has 3 daughters at School 87. She says questions raised about her children's well-being were shut down by the school administrators.
There is no excuse. Instead, I feel like the school acted in its own interest to minimize the fallout rather than protecting kids.
Other parents talked about not being informed when their own child was hurt at the school. In a video last week, IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson said the district fell short for not informing parents of the alleged abuse. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department started their drone program with a single drone in 2018. Now they have over 50, according to the commander of the aviation unit, Sergeant Ron Shelnut.
We now have, or will have, by the end of next Friday, probably one of the largest drone units in the country when it comes to systems and personnel that are operating them.
These are relatively small drones, similar to commercially available products that have become popular in recent years. Each drone and its equipment costs around $6,000, and the city is investing in a total of 30 for the current rollout. Shelnut says the drones are being used by all districts to cover a citywide area, and all officers using them need to complete a special training.
And they attend a 40-hour school. We just graduated 13 last Friday. Next Friday, we'll graduate 14 more, and they're spread throughout the city on different shifts, on different letter days.
IMPD said in a statement the drones will largely be used to aid in investigations and locate missing persons and suspects who have fled the scene. According to ShellNet, drones are a safer and more cost-effective option than helicopters, which IMPD no longer uses. And for our final story today, Indiana banned non-compete agreements for primary care physicians only last year. Now the Federal Trade Commission has approved a new rule that bans non-compete agreements across nearly all sectors. As Side Effects Public Media's Elizabeth Gabriel reports, that means physicians from all specialties may soon be freed from their non-competes.
Most employees will be able to freely switch jobs and work for rival companies at any time thanks to the new FTC rule. But the FTC does not have jurisdiction over nonprofit organizations like some hospitals. But there are some potential exceptions. The FTC said if a nonprofit entity engages in practices to drive profits to its members, it may treat it as a for-profit organization and impose the non-compete ban. Hospitals against the rule fear this could lead to staff retention problems or even bidding wars. The rule will take effect in 4 months, but the FTC is already facing legal challenges that could delay or block the ban from ever taking effect. Elizabeth Gabriel, Side Effects Public Media.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by the following people who live in your community: Drew Dodlin, Kendall Antron, who composed music for this podcast, and me, Aubriana Herron. Our news director is Sarah Neal Estes. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share. And follow WFYI on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.